He hasn't set up yet. That was a. We are live. Thank you very much. Well, welcome along, one and all, to day 2 of the BSDRA eSailing Team Racing Championships Knockout Series, taking part yesterday, today, and culminating tomorrow with the finals. So yesterday, the thousands of you that were watching, we saw the semi-finals of the under-19 competition. 2 fantastically hard-fought semi-finals, particularly semi-final 1, which saw Coathorpe Crusaders take a 2-0 lead over MCS, but it all turned around. MCS fought back to 2-2 and took the decisive 5th race to go through 3-2. So a bit of an upset there, and we had another upset according to our rankings in the second semi-final 2, with Ride School, who were ranked 2nd going into the competition, going into the knockout stage against RHS Blue. RHS Blue showed really good skills, actually, both keyboard skills and sailing skills, to emerge victors by 3 wins to 1. So those teams will progress through to tomorrow's final. So 4:30 tomorrow for the under-19 finals, MCS against RHS. Up today, we've got the 3rd place playoffs. So we've got both the under-17s and the under-19s. So first up, we have the under-17s, which is actually a bit of a ding-dong between 2 RHS teams. So Royal Hospital School, many of you will know, very strong sailing school. And they've got 2 teams in this under-17 championships 3rd place playoff. So of course, with them being both from the same school, they will not want to lose to each other. So we'll expect to see a very hard-fought battle between these 2 teams from the same school. So these teams, obviously, the under-17s, no semi-finals. We went straight into finals, which we'll see tomorrow, between Sevenoaks and Ride. So these 2 teams very narrowly missing out on a tie-break. Actually, it was very, very close between them and Sevenoaks, who qualified in 2nd. Both had 5 wins out of 7 races. And actually, they have met previously in this competition. So they have met in stage 1. And in stage 1, it was 3-2 to Greens. So Greens had the upper hand previously. So Oranges will be looking to turn that around here. But the 3-2 scoreline suggests these teams will be very evenly matched. So it should be good racing. So just waiting for one of the teams to enter. I think we've got Merrin and Toby in so far. We've got Pirate Ship and I'm quite sure what the other symbol is. RHS Orange sailing in the black and red boats. Now, we might have a bit of an issue because I think RHS Green have turned up in the same colours. So this could be a commentator's nightmare. Colour error, question mark, just popped up from PRO Keith Salmons. I think there is a bit of a colour error because we've got 3 black and red boats and 1 green boat. So this is going to be interesting. But I guess if they stay as they are, at least 2 of the black and red boats have symbols on the sails. So Pirate Ship and what sort of looks like a hat on a strangely shaped man. Oh, we've lost one of the boats. So he's gone off to repaint his boat with a quick grease spray of his star. Hopefully going to come back with not a black and red, potentially green to join his teammate. So sailing for RHS Orange, got Toby Smith, who finished 2nd at the RS Terra Nationals last year. So obviously very good at sailing in real life and quite good virtually, it seems, by virtue of their progression to this stage. And Merrin Attridge sailing as well. For RHS Green, we've got Max and Georgie. So I think Georgie is in, and say Max has gone off for a respray, which would greatly help us have the 2 teams in different colours. And here he comes. Good job. So we've got the 2 green boats of RHS Green, helpfully, against the black and red boats from RHS Orange. And we're underway. Keith Salmons, PRO Extraordinaires, fired off the racing sequence. So nice and short racing sequence for this eSailing. Just a 1 minute 15 countdown. The course is not what you'd expect for team racing, but we're virtual sailing, so we won't have too much choice on the course. Windward leeward course with a spread at the leg at the top. 2 laps, downwind finish, and we'll come to that later, proves pretty crucial. There is a leeward gate, but the rules for this competition, to make it a little bit more realistic, is you can only round the left-hand gate as you look downwind. And that's to replicate what you think of Mark III on a team racing course. So interestingly here, the 2 RHS orange boats in pretty early for the start, RHS green hanging back a little bit. So I'd probably favour what the greens are doing here. They're going to be able to come in with speed, potentially get underneath, inflict penalties, or push the RHS orange boat over the line. So RHS orange are going to have to do pretty well here to stay behind the line. All the boats are now drifting backwards, so who can cheat in, accelerate best. Penalty on pirate ship there. So you'll notice the penalties in this game, this eSailing. So no 360s or 720s, as you see in real sailing. If you get a penalty, which the computer will decide for you, the computer is the umpire, sometimes with some rather strange decisions, but on the whole pretty good. But if your boat is penalised, your boat will flash, you'll see a big exclamation mark appear next to you, and the boat will be slowed down for 8 to 10 seconds. But what it does mean is you sort of do have the option, potentially, particularly near the finish, just to take a penalty but keep the boat progressing along. So it's that balance between, should you take the penalty and keep what I would call ghosting through around the course, or obviously try and avoid getting a penalty. And for the boats that are ahead and looking to attack back, it's obviously a good option to put a penalty on the opposition, get them flashing so they have to slow down. So the format for this is 2-boat team racing, so a team of 2 against another team of 2. And the real simple maths here is if your boat is in 4th place, you're losing the race. So even if you're 1st and 4th, which potentially actually we're seeing here with RHS Green, so even though RHS Green have a boat winning the race, their teammate, and this is crucial, is in 4th place. So Greens are losing as a team. If your boat is in 4th as a team, you're losing. So one of 2 things will need to happen. Either 4th place is going to have to do some overtaking, or 1st is going to have to get involved, attack one or both of the red and black boats to try and get his or her teammate through. So what we're likely to see here is the green boat in 1st place. So Max hold his position up to the mark, get to the zone, clear ahead, and then potentially use a bit of protection from the rules to inflict some penalties in the back. But I think pirate ship just getting in underneath there, so he might be trying to get an overlap as we get to the zone. So we'll see who has the rights here. If green feels he has rights on the other boat, he might go to look to inflict penalties or stretch it out until the 2nd leg. And the blacks and reds here will just be thinking about keeping that boat, that green boat, behind them. Again, 4th place is crucial. But the tables definitely turn as we turn downwind now. So as much as upwind, being ahead is really strong. Not just because you're ahead, but also you can put dirty air onto the boats behind you. But particularly in these boats, the Stars, as soon as we turn downwind, it's actually really powerful to be the boat behind. Particularly if you're close, you can really inflict dirty wind, dirty air, wind shadow, whatever you like to call it, onto the boats ahead, reel them in and overtake them. And as we're seeing here, so it becomes a little bit of a battle now to get in that strong position. So you'll see the boat defend the left-hand side. What that gives you is the option to potentially jibe onto starboard, inflict a penalty. But also on this leg, if you're on the left-hand side, you're coming into the bottom on starboard and also inside at the mark, at the zone. So it's going to be pretty close here. So the green's getting an overlap inside that Mr. Hat boat, getting mark room. So pirate ship rounding first, but it looks like his teammate, Mr. Hat, is going to be in 4th. So we've seen a change. We did have greens 1st and 4th on the 1st lap. We're now seeing black and reds, RHS orange, in 1st and 4th. So often you do see, as we're seeing here, that the pairs sort of pair off, and you'll see 2 boats heading off to one side of the course and 2 boats heading off to the other. And you're just worried about staying ahead of your what's called your pair. So if you're ahead of an opposition boat, you tend to stick with them unless you've got good reason to leave. So interestingly, the green sort of left Mr. Hat to his own devices. Would have possibly liked to see him covering a little bit more. Maybe they back themselves to make sure they're ahead as they come into this second windward mark. They will obviously have starboard advantage. So it looks like pirate ship, Merrin, be up there first. But actually, the green boats had a bit of a stormer out on the right hand side there. It's actually going around in first. So green's not too far for 1-2 here. They're just picking up a penalty, that port approach there. So we'll see pirate ship. We've given them one penalty, they may look to give them another, get their teammate out of last place. Actually, Mr. Hat's got a penalty there. Penalties for everyone at the moment. This race is very, very, very close. The boats are probably within 1 or 2 seconds of each other as they bear away onto the final leg, the crucial final leg, where we see so many of these races decided. So with this course, we have the downwind finish, which is not what we're used to seeing in most team racing. So it's pretty tricky because even, as I said, when you are ahead, it's pretty hard to stay ahead. You've got to keep your wind clear. You've got to not get overtaken. You've got to not get penalised. Again, we can see these boats pairing off, battling each other, one pair against another pair. These guys will know each other. They're from the same school. They won't want to lose to each other. We know that for sure. So again, a 1-3 at the moment for RHS Orange. We'll see how aggressive they go. Will they try and just stay ahead, or will they try and inflict some penalties? Green boats battling really hard to get to the left-hand side of their opposition. As we said, if you can get to the left, particularly in this game, you can often flick onto starboard, inflict penalties. You also have the option to come in at a nice angle and luff your teammates. Sorry, not your teammates, your opposition, away from the finish line. But by virtue of these boats hanging out to the left-hand side, what that has created for blacks and reds, so RHS Orange, is they're now able to come in at a little bit of a higher, hotter angle, potentially protecting themselves a little bit better from dirty air, being able to come in at a slightly faster angle. So at the moment, green's just desperately trying to claw in that boat, try and inflict some penalties onto the pirate ship. One of them has ended up getting a penalty though. This is far from over. Now both greens picking up penalties, so the blacks will just hope they can get their boat across the line. Remember, it's all about not being fourth, so RHS Orange across first. Oh, one of them picking up a penalty right at the end, and it looks like really good turn on its head right at the end. RHS Orange has lost that right on the line. Fourth place, so that's 1-4 to RHS Orange. And a 2-3 for the greens. So it all did come down to that final leg. So the greens take out the first race. Long way to go though, first of 3 wins. But first blood to RHS Green.
I said you wouldn't do it.
So I'll probably have a quick turnaround here. Very proficient, Keith, in his race officering, getting his virtual course set. So as I said, when they met previously, the green team came out 3-2, and they've taken an early lead in this third place playoff match over RHS Orange. So RHS Green 1-0 up. We can see race 2 is open. Click in and see the action. So here we are, looks like everyone's in nice and quickly for this one. Itching to get going, race 2. So RHS Orange will probably feel they had the upper hand for most of that last race, but it's all irrelevant. It all comes to how you cross that finish line. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Straight away we're into sequence, so just 1 minute 15 on the countdown. So last time we saw RHS Orange and the red and black boats pushing in for the start a little bit earlier, and the RHS Green team happy to sit back a bit and push from behind to the line. So another strategy you may see with the teams of two is they'll do zonal start. So one of them start on the left-hand side of the line, one of them on the right-hand side of the line. We're seeing a little bit of repeat here with the blacks and reds, RHS Orange happy to get in early, greens happy to hang back. So the risk of being in early is obviously you run out of runway, run out of space. And if the green team come in underneath, it can push you up. If they time that right, it can be a little bit vulnerable to getting a penalty as windward boat or being pushed over the line. But with only 12 seconds to go, greens may have left it a little bit late. 8 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're off. So pirate ship and funny looking hat boat did a good job there actually of getting in there soon. Green's possibly a little bit passive, hanging back but not pushing in quite, getting their time and distance right to execute a good start. So black and red, RHS Orange taking a 1-2 off the line. As we see, as we talked about in the last race, them pairing off, so they'll look to cover a boat each. For the team with the bad start off the line, you're kind of in a 3-4, so you're already on the back foot. You need to overtake one of the boats and get them to the back. So what you might look to do is what's called split the pairs. So one of you head off to the left, one of you head off to the right in the hope that the opposition will cover you. And any big shift to the left or the right will unbalance the pairs and bring one pair of boats in ahead. So actually what the greens are doing now is sort of playing into the hands of RHS Orange. They're kind of going up the same part of the racetrack. So it's pretty easy for the black and red boats just to cover their respective pairs, but keep the race quite bunched together, so a little bit easier for them to execute their 1-2 position. So it may have been a better strategy for the greens to split the race up, but they'll probably just try and keep it close because they will know that these races really come down to the run. And actually, if you're close behind going to that run, sometimes it can, in this game, almost seem to be a bit of an advantage. So they are 3 and 4, they are losing, but they won't be worried. Long way to go. And potentially, actually, as these boats tack up, green just slightly overstanding, so expect to see they do have starboard rights, but the red and black boat may well be able to get their tack in. So they just about do. So red and black's just holding on to the 1-2 combination as we come into the first windward mark. Although that left shift really hasn't helped, and now he's going to have to either do 2 tacks or squeeze up. So actually quite a good job by green, doing him a bit of a disservice there, being over the ley line. I've seen that left shift coming. Was able to stop black and red getting up to the mark. He's now having to come in on and picks up a penalty. So from being a second, quite quickly, we can see how quickly this game changes. Now finds himself in 4th place. And Pirate Ship, who was happily sailing along, 1-2, now finds his teammate in 4th. But what he's done really well is he's realised that and he's slowed down straight away. It was good to be proactive in this game. He'll just look to pick off one of these boats, give them a penalty, which he's done there. His teammate back in. Almost giving both the green boats picking up a penalty there. So good job by the Pirate Ship. Getting back into that 1-2 combination. And we can see already Mr. Hatman leading off to the left-hand side. The reason he's not sailing downwind straight down to the mark is he's trying to sail a higher angle, keeping his wind clear, making it more difficult for the boat behind to put wind shadow on him. So although they're not progressing too far down the course, he won't mind. He just cares about keeping that boat behind him. Keeping green in 4th place. That's what's crucial here. So the other 2 boats at the front, just having a little think, what can they do to help here? What combination are we in? What can I do to help? So the green boat setting up pretty nicely to the left-hand side. We'll be looking to get into that zone first. So you can do some damage. His teammate here though. Yeah, a bit of teammate on teammate friendly fire there, which is never good. Green's rounding probably 2nd and 3rd, but one boat with a penalty, so he'll hope to shake that off. So we're seeing that combination again, 1-4 to RHS Orange. And again the boat's pairing off, so the boat ahead covering the boat behind in their pair. See the green RHS green boat here on the left hand side, tacking up the RHS Orange boat. if you're in your pair, all you're really worrying about is staying ahead of your pair. That's kind of the first and foremost thing you need to achieve, and then worry about the bigger picture as we go. So these boats splitting off to the left and right hand side, possibly a slight left hand shift. So these boats actually sailing past the ley line. So this pair on the left hand side, we're going to have to bear away quite a bit to get to the mark. So this pair will definitely be the pair that's at the back. And crucially, the back of that pair is RHS Orange. So although Pirate Ship from RHS Orange is rounding in first, his teammates in fourth. So we'll expect to see Pirate Ship slow down, Merin slow down as they're starting to do there. Do what they did last time, which was they were able to give 2 penalties, a penalty onto each boat. So we can see Merin slowing down, has all the rights of the zone, penalty onto one of the boats. To let them go, waiting for the next boat, give them a penalty. Green's trying their best not to get the penalty, but being really slowed there. So Pirate Ship doing a great job, not just of slowing. Oh, and Green's missed the mark there. So fantastic job. And I think they're going to have some issues unwinding themselves. I'm not sure they've done that right. We'll see how the game deals with that. I don't think they've pulled their piece of string correctly around that mark. So I'm still not sure they've gone around the mark properly. Although the game seems to think so. But crucially, they are 100 metres or so behind. So not able to inflict any damage with the wind shadow. So great job there by the black and reds, RHS Orange, slowing down. It may have been better for the RHS Green boat just to sail through, accept the penalty, keep the race progressing. Now the Greens really have a lot on. They're trapped to the right of the Pirate Ship, so they've got to first get to the left of them and able to be able to even attack them, and then really inflict a lot of pain to get their teammate back in. Although Max is catching up pretty well, to be fair. That green boat in third place were doing all they can to slow down that Pirate Ship, and now actually both of them can potentially start to work together. You can see the boat in first, Protestera, Toby, thinking, what can I do? Should I finish? Should I help my teammate? Does he need my help? Is he going to be okay? He's got 2 boats on him, so you're making it pretty tricky for him. We're inside the last few metres to the line. Green's going for a last-ditch move. That's played off for them last time, but I think this time Oranges are going to hold on. They do, first and second. Just confirm themselves there. So, yeah. First and second, black and red, so RHS Orange. Leveling up the scoreline. So it's 1 apiece. So the big play there, the big move there was at that second spreader mark where we had the mark trap set. The boats got really down speed, and one of the RHS Greens unable to actually get around the mark. They were doing all they could to avoid missing the mark and not getting a penalty, but in doing so ended up the wrong side of the mark, having to cycle back around. Still not convinced they went around the mark properly. Doesn't really matter now, but just let them get 100 metres behind, which meant they just ran out of space. They did reel it back in towards the finish, but just ran out of runway. So 1-1. So first to 3 wins, takes it, best of 5, first to 3. Very proficient Keith, opening up the next race straight away. So 1-1. So it's almost just become a best of 3 now between these 2 teams. So we did see yesterday some of the teams rotating their sailors. You are allowed to have more than 2 sailors in your team, obviously not in the race, but you can change your team between races. But both these teams just the same 2 sailors. Toby and Merin for RHS Orange, Max and Georgie for RHS Green. So there's no rest, there's no squad rotation for these teams. They'll have their keyboard fingers and thumbs firmly warmed up as we progress through potentially 5 races. And it's relentless this. We're straight into the starting sequence, race number 3. 1 apiece between the teams. So will we see a repeat of the starting strategy we saw in those first 2 races? RHS Orange is going in nice and early, just holding position on the line. Green's pushing in from deeper, from further behind. A little bit more pressure on their time and distance judgment. Trying to come in underneath, inflict some penalties, windward leeward penalties, and potentially, if they can, push the opposition over the line. So we're seeing the same setup again. Green's happy to stay back. Blacks and reds happy to be in the lead, controlling the approach to the line in nice and early, backing their boat handling skills, backing their acceleration, backing their timing nice and close to the line. So will Greens be a little bit more pushy as they come in to the line? Potentially little just tack and jive around there, but execute pretty nicely. Penalty for one of the Greens. 2, 1, go. All clear. But again, that strategy seems to be paying out for the RHS Orange of just having a little bit more, I guess, presence on the start line from earlier. They've got the better of the start again, and they're looking like a 1-2 as they sail up off this line. Again, the boat's pairing off, so each of the RHS Orange boats covering one of the RHS Greens. And this time, RHS Green going for a split, so you can see one of the boats heading off to the far left of the course, and then more to the right-hand side. What they're trying to do there is what's called unbalance the pairs. So when you're in 3 and 4, you don't just want to follow behind, make it easy for 1 and 2. That's what they want you to do. Team racing is really often all about doing the opposite of what your opposition boat would like you to do. Take away some of their control. In fact, Green happier to head even further left, but RHS Orange boat not biting there, not taking the extra 2 tacks. Really happy there on the ley line with a slight left shift coming. You just see the wind indicators at the top left-hand side of your screen. Just showing you the wind that's about to come. So still looking like a 1-2 as we head up to the top end of this beat. Pirate ship off to the right. Mr. Hatman slightly more in the centre. But both happy they're up in their pairs. So they're both just trying to now probably not get in each other's way. Progress the 1-2 as best they can. And that third place green, some issues over on the right hand side for one of the green boats getting stuck going backwards in one of the tacks there. I don't know if that's down to some dodgy internet or what's going on there. So that's put a bit of a gap between the rest of the race and the boat in 4th place. So with a 1-2 to Orange, the 4th quite a long way back, that's going to be quite a big advantage for the RHS Orange team. So Merrin rounding first. Followed by Toby. Being chased hard by Georgie in 3rd place here. So still a long way to go, no need to panic yet for the Greens. You can just see the green boat doing their best to get on the breeze of one of the orange boats at least, try and reel them in, slow them down, give their teammate who is currently 4th a chance to get back into the race. And the blacks and reds of RHS Orange just doing what they can to hold on, trying to get clear ahead of the zone. Green doing a good job actually in inflicting a penalty there, so Green may well move into 2nd place here. So Green doing a good job there, chasing with patience down that run, inflicting a penalty on the opposition right near the bottom, getting into 2nd place. But now they still need to get their teammate out of last. So interestingly, the boat in 2nd, we've just come through to 2nd actually for RHS Green, choosing not to tack off with that boat in 3rd. May have thought they would attack with them, tried to cover them, lock them, hold them out to the left to get their teammate through. They're just happy to sail upwind. So for RHS Orange here, they're sort of on the cusp of a 1-2, which they'll be looking to get into. A 1-2 is the ultimate combination you want for this racing. if you are first and second, obviously it's difficult for the opposition because to get themselves out of fourth, first of all, they've got to do some overtaking. Definitely harder to slow boats down, pull mark traps and things like that when you're behind. So the crucial bit here is we'll see the battle here between second and third. So pirate ship slowing down at the front, Merrin. They're going to look to convert to a 1-2. You'd look to see probably green doing to them what first, doing to the third place what first trying to do to them. But we've seen some really good mark trapping skills from Merrin in this racing. The pirate ship consistently inflicting penalties onto the opposition. And that was a nice move that's allowed their teammate Toby to sail through into second place. Now we'll see if they work together here just to try and stay ahead. Fourth is quite a long way behind. So the boat in third doing the best they can, but picking up quite a few penalties here. You can see the RHS Orange boats now quite proactively leading off to the left, defending that left-hand side of the run. So setting higher angles to keep clear wind, but also being on the left of the other boat gives you a bit of power as you come back into the line. Starboard rights. So often we'll see in this game that battle to get to the left side when it gets a little bit niggly. You can generally be the boat on the left and get that flick that jibe in onto starboard, inflict a penalty. So Merrin's happy, he's gone through the finish. Obviously has ultimate faith in their teammate. It's pretty close. That could be crucial though, a penalty on the green boat there. So, right to have faith in your teammate as they cross the line second. So that's a 1-2. RHS Orange moves them to match point. First to 3 wins takes the match. So RHS Orange, 2-1 up on RHS Green. So it does seem to be the starts that RHS Orange is certainly having the upper hand, as we say, getting to the line earlier than RHS Green. That's a strategy that's paid off for them in all 3 of these races, getting the upper hand off the line, often coming out in a 1-2 and having early control of the race. Certainly in that race, that was, from start to finish almost. The Greens did get back into it a little bit. The green boat that did get through into second was possibly a little bit passive in that second beat. Might have looked to see them attack the third place boat a little bit harder. So we've got RHS Orange already in the race here, already in the pre-start area. Itching to go, get this one more win that they need. RHS Green maybe just taking a little bit of time to regroup. A bit of a chat about strategy, maybe having a little think about their starting. Not seen them enter the arena yet. Here they come, Max and Georgie. So here we go, this could be the last race, or if the Greens win, we'll see a deciding race. So it's 2-1 to RHS Orange at the moment, and we're straight into the sequence, no messing around from PRO Keith. 1 minute to go. Again, real sort of carbon copy of the last few races. The RHS Orange is really happy to be nice and close to the line. RHS Green preferring to hang back and push into the line nice and late. So these two contrasting strategies in the first 3 races certainly have paid off for RHS Orange. So RHS Orange sailing in their black and red boats with the symbols on their sails, the skull and crossbones, the pirate ship, and the funny looking hat symbol, from what I can make out of it. Maybe that's chevrons. Anyway, looks like a hat to me. So 20 seconds to go, we can see blacks and reds, again nice and early up on that line. Green's trying to push in. I think Green again just being a little bit passive, only 10 seconds to go. Potential danger of one of the boats being shut out at the boat end here. Pirate ship doing a good job, although leaving themselves a little bit vulnerable. There's extra space to get in there. Right, takes a penalty, but still on a bit of an unforced error from Max at the back there, hitting the committee boat. Gets stuck head to wind, going backwards. Oof, painful. So again, the orange is very much having the upper hand of that start. Potentially in a 1-2, or at least a 1-3. And green's already with quite a big fourth place after that penalty, hitting the start mark. Getting stuck a little bit head to wind. So RHS Orange on the cusp of taking third place overall in the under 17 section of the BSDRA eSailing Team Racing Championships, as I think we're calling it. So we can see RHS Orange in the black and red, again pairing off, covering those pairs. They are in a 1-2, they want to keep it that way, but they want to keep the race progressing, but they need to cover. First kind of rule of team racing, one of the first rules, if you are ahead in your pair, make sure you're covering, don't give them a chance to get through you, stay between them and the mark. So, bit of a repeat of the previous races we saw, with the RHS Orange leading up this beat, first and second. So when they met in the first stage of the competition, it was the greens that won out 3-2, but currently Orange are the 2-1 advantage going to this race. If they win this, they will take the third place overall, and definitely got the upper hand on this race. Quite a big gap opening up between them and the opposition. But as we've seen, the real chance to close these gaps will be when they turn downwind. One of the boats just struggling a little bit to get around there, left it a little bit tight, so that slowed them down a little bit. That'll give that boat in third, that RHS Green boat, a chance to close the gap a little bit. Merrin rounding first. Followed by Toby. Who's this in third? So a comfortable 1-2 for RHS Orange at the moment. You see Toby just sailing a slightly high angle out to that left-hand side. We've talked about protecting that left-hand side downwind for various reasons, particularly on this leg there. You're going to have starboard right and the inside track as you come into this mark, which will give you mark room as you hit the zone. I think they're just about going to hold on, get to the zone ahead. So RHS Orange maintaining their first and second place. I can't even see the other green boat. I think they've sunk. So that's really going to be very difficult for poor old Georgie in third. The teammates disappeared. Gear failure on the course does happen. Obviously in the eSailing you tend not to see your rig fall down, but the race come down. Already seeing a question mark about the should we have a restart, but they were in fourth place when they dropped, so we'll see. We'll have to see what the race committee makes of that. See, there's lots of questions going on various WhatsApp forums here. A WhatsApp protest unfolding. Brave new world. So this race is unfortunately turned a little bit of a non-event because we've had one boat drop out, which in three-boat team racing you could still potentially win a 1-2 or 1-3 if your teammate dropped out, but two-boat team racing, even if you finish first, if your teammate's out of the race, what you can do about it? I guess they'll probably carry on. You never know, the other two boats might drop out as well. So what we'll see here is these two boats from RHS Orange just happily sail straight down to the finish. It's not going to take them too long to get there, nothing to worry about here. No more team racing to be done. It'll be interesting to see if the race committee reward a resale here. which from what I can see on the WhatsApp live protest hearing might be what's about to happen. Abandon and go again. I'll reopen the game. It's hot off the press from PRO Keith Salmons. We are going to resell this. Now the purists might say if you drop out in 4th place, maybe you shouldn't get a resale. But there we go. It's all friendly here. So we're going to see this race resale. So greens, the score will stay the same. 2-1 to the oranges. So we'll come in again and let's see if greens can get a better job off that start line. At the moment, they've definitely been on the back foot off the start line in all 4 races. So whether they'll change their strategy, we'll see. So just waiting for the race committee to set up the resale of race 4. So it's still 2-1 to RHS Orange. One of the RHS green boats dropping out of the race. So a resale has been awarded. So all the boats just probably checking the rigging, making sure, they don't want the same thing to happen to them. Open. RHS Orange again, jumping at the bit, in nice and early. Joined by RHS Green. Just trying to work out from the background where we're sailing. Of course, the real BSDRA final should have been sailed just a couple of weeks ago at Bow Beach Reservoir in Kent. Which unfortunately doesn't seem to happen in this game. Maybe it's Portsmouth. Is that a fort over there? Anyway. Oh, I've joined the game again. I'll log out of that. Join back in. Oh, just been informed it is Portsmouth. So my knowledge of the forts paid off there. All races in Portsmouth. I guess as close to Bow Beach as we could get. Again, we're seeing the same starting strategy. RHS Orange in nice and early. RHS Green trying to push in from behind. So far, 4 times out of 4, this strategy's paid off RHS Orange. Coming in a little bit tighter and actually managing to inflict a penalty. So this might be the first time that Green have really managed to push in harder, mix it up. 3, 2, 1. And you see again, Green's just on the back foot off the line, just a little bit hesitant and pushing in, a little bit maybe unconfident in being able to get in there, mix it amongst the RHS Orange. Just doing a good job to avoid a bit of friendly fire there. Good keyboard skills and avoiding each other. Nothing more embarrassing than getting a penalty for hitting your teammate. So, a bit of a repeat here. RHS Orange take the upper hand off the start line, sailing up the beat, taking a pair each, so covering 1 green boat each. 1 off to the left, 1 off to the right, just trying to consolidate their first and second. Greens chasing hard. Trying to keep it close. But I would think RHS Orange feeling pretty happy about the way they've been starting, the way first beats have been going. Certainly the mark traps at the top have been pretty good, especially for Merrin and the pirate ship. Done a good job on that. Green's just stalling it a little bit in attack there. So sailing up, we can indeed see one of the forts in the distance here, sailing off the shores of Portsmouth on the Solent. So RHS Orange, the first boat tacking up on the starboard ley line, just slightly above. Merrin following in. So Toby, our Terra expert, leading this race. 1-2 to RHS Orange. RHS Green, right next to each other, chasing as hard as they can. They'll know the advantage will turn to them slightly as they turn downwind. They'll be able to attack Merrin, take that wind. So Toby just squeezes around. And Merrin actually having to do 2 tacks there, so that will slow them down a little bit and really allow Greens, if they can both get around on this tack, to be nice and close behind, give them every option to attack Merrin's breeze as we head downwind. So potentially the Greens might just be close enough here to be able to work together to put some wind shadow onto Merrin. Although a little bit of breathing space there for Merrin. Obviously this first run is a little bit shorter when you're going down to the gate, not all the way down to the finish, so without much breathing space they'll be feeling pretty confident about hanging on, keeping first and second. Toby in first, just being a good teammate, just kind of dutifully hanging around, making sure his teammate's okay. I'm there if I need you. Second becomes at risk, but there's no risk on this leg, and it will carry on as a 1-2 RHS Orange. If they win this race, they will win. Ooh, friendly fire there between the Greens. It's not going to help. Max picking up a penalty there, teammate on teammate, handing more of an advantage to RHS Orange here. So the big hope for RHS Green here is that they can just be close enough that when they turn onto that long downwind leg to the finish, they'll be able to wind in RHS Orange, get close to them, inflict some penalties potentially on them, and get crucially out of 4th place. But I think Oranges will be feeling just pretty comfortable. They can just keep out of each other's way here, stretch out as much of a lead as they can. Every metre counts as you go onto that run. I'm hoping they can just be far enough ahead that the wind shadow won't affect them too much immediately, so they can at least make progress down the majority of the run. You see Max in 4th place here, just a fair distance behind. So Georgie in 3rd here. First thing she's got to do is try her best to catch up second, get herself in a position to be able to affect them, slow them down, try and get Max out of 4th place. I would say your money would be on RHS Orange at the moment, but we've seen in these stars, downwind, they can really, the boat's behind. As long as you're within sort of, I would say, 60 metres, you will start to cast your wind shadow onto the boat ahead and reel them in. And it does start to happen slowly at first, and then it starts to happen real quickly, and definitely as the boat ahead. You start to feel pretty nervous when you see that boat just appearing in your screen from behind you. You can see George doing it all they can really just to stay in the breeze. You've got to be patient here. You've got to stay keeping the breeze and just hope there's enough space between now and the finish to get close to them. But it does look like as we enter sort of 150 metres to go, coming towards 100 metres to go, the Greens are, sadly for them, going to run out of racetrack, and the Oranges are going to cross the line in a 1-2 position, which they've sort of held right from the start in this race, to be fair to them, and take the match with a 1-2 to take out the 3rd place playoff with a 3-1 victory. So congratulations to RHS Orange, Toby and Merrin, for the victory over their school rivals RHS Green, Max and Georgie. So they take 3rd place in the under-17 division of the BSDRA eSailing Championship. So good job, guys. Well sailed. And in 10 minutes' time, we've got the 3rd place player for the under-19s. which based on what we saw yesterday should be an absolute cracker. Coathorpe against Ryde. So look forward to seeing you for that.